Are you in budgeting and planning season right now? It's that magical time of year where we start to think about our business for next year, what we're going to do, how we're going to grow it. And here's the thing: we all want to scale our businesses, right? Anybody not want to scale our business? No, that's not a thing. But think about scaling. When you climb a ladder, what happens? You then climb down the ladder. But why is it that so many times we think about our businesses and we only really think about how we can grow, grow, grow? For some of you, you may be in an industry that is massively changing. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to think about scaling your business down the ladder. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, take, for example, in the software reselling business, maybe your partner, the primary supplier of the software you resell, came out with a new partner program and they cut your margins drastically. In that case, you may have to really re-look at your business and say, is this the business we need to stay in? I'm not saying abandon that business. I'm just saying a dynamic business, a business that can sustain for the long term, doesn't just think about scaling up, but they also are open to the idea of scaling down. Now, we always want to be positive. We always want to see the best. And if we don't plan for scaling down, we may be in a situation where we suddenly drastically have cash flow problems and drastically have to cut people that we don't want to cut. So, what is the secret to scaling down your business? After running my software reselling business for 20 years, what I've found, the secret to being able to sustain my profits, is the ability to grow and shrink based on what's happening in the marketplace, maybe the demand, maybe the version of the software, but there's always peaks and valleys. So what I've learned is that two key things have helped me be able to maintain that profitability. The first, and maybe the most important thing, is to make sure that your processes are well documented. That's right, standard operating procedures so that everybody, almost everybody, is replaceable. By doing that, if you have someone leave, you're not caught in a bind. But the other thing is that if you do have to downsize, you'll be able to have people take on those responsibilities. But that's also the path to automation. The first step in all automation is documenting the procedures, and so that you can actually put some automation in it. So that's the first thing to scaling, either up or down, is documenting your procedures. The second thing that was game changing for me, I mean, like mind blowing game change, is I had a mentor. He was the CFO of a $6 billion company. And he said to me one day, Heather, your business model sucks. And I went, wait, what? I've been successful. I've been profitable for a number of years at this point. And he goes, I hate your business model. He's like, you need to rely more on what we now call the gig economy. That's right. Engaging in contractors as often as you can to deal with the peaks and valleys of your business. By being able to have the flexibility to bring people on or to, not renew that contract, it has been huge. When the market goes down, I've never had to worry about laying anybody off. Now, the second part of this is that when you have those standard operating procedures and you have guidelines on how each thing is done, it's easy to bring in a VA or a temp or someone to go through those processes. So if you want to make sure that you have long-term sustainability and profitability in your business, you really need to think about the ability to document your process and leverage contractors or other partnerships with other firms in your industry. By the way, your competition is not always your competition. They can be your best partners when done right. We'll do other videos on partnerships and what we've learned the hard way over the years. But really think about, as you're going through this planning season, how can I scale my business or down? And maybe really look at all the areas of your business, all the the lines of service that you offer, your revenue, have the margins started to slip in a certain product category or service category? Maybe that's a time to start to look at this. Now, there is a third big kind of elephant in the room, and that is when you ask people to document what they do, when you start to use contractors, your internal people get a little scared. Now, the secret to getting through this is one, make sure that your team members know that you believe in them, invest in their cross training, invest in their personal growth, make sure they're going to conferences so that they can grow and learn. Because those are going to be your best assets if you have to move people around in different departments. When people know you care about them, they will follow you as a leader. But you have to show that you care by investing in their future too. And another key point is that you need to communicate what's going on. When you start asking people to document what they do and you don't tell them the vision, the purpose, and the why, guess what happens? They fill in the dots. That's right. They just jump to these assumptions. And it's never good. People never like, oh, they're asking me to document this because they're going to promote me. That's not how they think. Most people are wired with our little lizard brain that has evolved over thousands of years to think, oh my gosh, they're going to get rid of me. They're going to automate me. Like, I'm going to get fired. Like, they go to the worst place. So communication of your strategy and why you're asking people to document and being very candid and forthright with them and say, guys, there's parts of our business that may not be here in a few years, but I believe in all of you. I need you to believe in me. And so I want to map out this vision and get your ideas. We want to be able to automate as much as possible so that we can go into new markets and do new things. And so when you tell that and explain the why you're making these changes and why you're getting ready for scalability, it doesn't mean you have to scale up or down. It means you're prepared. And that's really the secret to growth, is preparing for which way you should go. Because growth doesn't have to mean top line revenue. Growth can mean you actually reduce top line revenue and increase profits. Now imagine a world where you can maybe keep your revenues flat, but increase your profits by 30%. Who wouldn't love that? The trick to all of that is preparing to be scalable. Invest in your people, communicate the strategy, document the processes, automate, and consider using people in the gig economy. Right now, with a lot of companies forcing technologists, especially back to the office, there are some amazing resources out there. Now, if there's an area that you're like, oh, I would love to find someone for this position or for this role, maybe it's, contract work, and you don't know where to start, but you see in my LinkedIn profile that I might be able to connect you, reach out to me. I love connecting you with talented resources. So that's it for today's lesson. Scaling means up and down so that you can stay in your business in a profitable way. I hope you found this informative, gave you a couple nuggets to think about during this budget season. So do me a favor, make a comment below, like this, share this, and please subscribe to this channel. We'll see you on our next video.